Welcome aboard the Pequod. Your captain will show you the ropes today. As you know, I have spent countless hours, more than 500 hours on Limbus Company. I have been whaling most of the time, as my channel's name suggests, but this only means that I have the perfect solution to acquire all the IDs you may want for free. After watching this video, you will be able to grind mirror dungeons with more efficiency, and you can complete your mirror dungeon runs in a matter of minutes. Your normal mirror dungeon run will be about 10 minutes long, and your hard mirror dungeons will take you 30 minutes to complete, tops. Limbus Company is quite friendly to beginner gacha addicts. You can get everything you want in this game for free, other than some extremely rare and limited event egos that even most experienced whales cannot get anymore, unfortunately. So we are sailing the gambling oceans here, the uncharted waters of utter irresponsibility and degeneracy. I shall help you navigate these waters. Usually, when you do the extractions, you get the option to either spend 1300 Lunacy and get 10 extractions, one guaranteed 2-star and a potential 3-star, but this is very inconsistent and can be tricky to get what you actually want. Recently, me and my friend recorded a video of us trying to get the recent Walpurgisnacht ID, and we actually hit the hard PT. That means we spent 26,000 Lunacy. 26,000 Lunacy just to get a single ID. We were distorting by the end of that gambling session. But you do not have to distort. You can simply watch this guide and you will understand how to grind and get your IDs for free. First and foremost, this is the Limbus Company's Season Pass. As you can see, this is what we are going to rely on to gain ego shards. Now, if you don't know what an ego shard is, you can change 400 of these in the dispenser to get a new 3-star ID or an ego. And for 150 you can get a 2-star. The Season Pass provides a lot of different rewards, and I strongly recommend you to buy the Season Pass if you can, but you might not want to do that, and that doesn't mean it's over for you, alright? You are not yet doomed. You will have to earn 10 XP on the pass to gain a new level. I'm going to bore you with some math here. Each level past a certain point will provide you with a single ego shard crate. Each crate contains from 1 to 3 ego shards of your choice. By doing daily missions, you will gain a single pass level. By doing weekly missions, you will gain 2 levels, and by doing seasonal missions, you will gain 6 levels. More importantly, by doing mirror dungeon runs, you will be able to gain 750 free Lunacy each week, and if you do the hard mode, around 25 Season Pass levels with the weekly bonuses activated. This translates to 25 shard crates. If you run out of the weekly bonuses, you still get 3 levels on the Season Pass for each mirror dungeon run. Do not worry if you are getting annoyed by the math. No need to hurt your brain. Here is what all of this adds up to. Without too much grinding, you will be able to gain 40 crates per week as a totally free-to-play gamer. If you decide to buy the Season Pass, you would get 120 crates. And now this is without any grinding. But if you did one mirror dungeon run per single day, you would get 21 additional crates. That's like 50% increase in your rewards. But I hear you, it takes too long. I hear you, dear viewer, but with this whaler on your side, it will only take a matter of minutes. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of grinding. I have whaled on this game already, and there is no need for me to grind. I still like to play Mirror Dungeon sometimes. I have reached the 15th floor a few times. Me and my friend have done extensive research and compared our methods and strategies to one another, and I have come to a conclusion. If you can do the Mirror Dungeon with weekly bonuses, I suggest doing a single run on hard mode with all bonuses activated. This way you save a ton of time and have some fun instead of doing mindless grinding. But once you have used up your weekly bonuses, switch to normal and keep at it. You can spend Lunacy on getting more Anchorphalin instead of spending it on extractions. But how much Lunacy should you be spending? Realistically, you can spend about 750 Lunacy per week without any detriment to your account. Keep in mind that extraction tickets and Lunacy are important for those special occasions when you would rather gamble than wait a few weeks for the new ID to get added to the dispenser. But you can spend about 200 or 250 Lunacy per week and still be able to do a few mirror dungeons every single day. This is the most simple guide I can offer you on how to gain IDs for free, and I already hear you. How do we deal with the dungeons itself? What is the best way to grind and what is the fastest and most reliable way to reach floor 5? It's not too complicated. If our goal is to reach the 5th floor, we need to consider the difficulty we are playing on. This will change things. If you're grinding without your weekly bonuses, you should be on normal mirror dungeon as the reward is the same. And there is no need for us to actually reach the 5th floor. Instead, we can end our mirror dungeon run on the 3rd floor, and this will save us a ton of time on the grind. But mind you, this is only if we have used up all our bonuses. But you want to get the weekly bonuses and challenge yourself with a hard mirror dungeon? Well, once I show you the strategy, you will never look at the mirror dungeon runs the same way you did before. Firstly, what kind of a team do you have? This will vary from player to player. I think you would assume that the guide can't be the same for one and all, but you would assume wrong. We are all in the same boat in this channel, or the game, and I hope this guide will stay relevant for a very, very long time due to the universal nature of the knowledge I have. To cut to the chase, mirror dungeons change quite often. The Starlight currency was not always there and it can get removed from the game again. I will not focus on the changing aspects of the game. Instead, I'm going to showcase the things that can work and will work always. So, what is the most important thing when doing a mirror dungeon run? Damage and survivability. You can simply lose a run if you cannot protect your sinners, and if you cannot deal damage, the same will happen. We want to avoid this at all costs. Starting, we will need to remember that we always choose events. The more events you get in your mirror dungeon, the better. This way we do not have to fight, and it saves us a ton of time. We get more rewards and there is less chance of us losing by taking less fights. Second most important thing, always choose chain battles instead of focused encounters. It's usually less time consuming and also it will synergize with the strategies we want to use. On top of that, these fights are easier for the most part. Third very important tip, we only have to reach floor 5 once if we want to get the weekly bonuses. For the rest of our runs, we only need to reach the end of the 3rd floor on a normal mode. Now, at the start of your run, choose any IDs you like, preferably IDs with a dodge skill and strong IDs you have, any strong IDs. Ones with bleed infliction are quite welcome, and if you have IDs with strong last skills, that would be even better. Those come in handy if we are trying to reach floor 5. But for the most part, this does not matter. What IDs you have is irrelevant. At the start of the run, try to get as many Rupture gifts as possible and try to go for a easy floor 1 by picking counter 1 or 2 for your theme packs. In general, these are the theme packs I would recommend to you. The Forgotten, Flat Broke Gamblers, much like us, The Unloving, Nest, Workshop and Technology, and if we are trying to reach floor 5, Hell's Kitchen is amazing, Miracle in District 20 Bokak can be good also, Dregs of the Manor is also nice, and Lines 1 and 2 can be quite manageable as well. Now, with our pathing clear and knowing we need to survive, we can finally start talking about strategy. The best defense is offense. There is no reason to tank when enemies are simply imploding before us whenever they try to hit us. So we need to cut the enemies down fast. For this, we need to focus on inflicting a lot of damage and in a rapid manner. With certain IDs, it can be quite easy to grind, but IDs are the thing that not everyone has, and even with the best IDs, you still rely on chance. Your hits might not always land. For this reason, I decided to find a way to deal guaranteed damage every single turn. This can be achieved with numerous ego gifts we can easily find on the first floor of our dungeon. Most important one is tier 4 Rupture ego called Thrill. It will inflict 3 Rupture potency and count on all enemies at the turn start, and it will deal potency times count damage onto them on turn end. To maximize the potential of this gift, we could grab the other Rupture ego gifts, which increase the potency and count amount. Then we can also try to get Carmilla, a tier 2 no keyword gift, which says that in a non-focused encounter all enemies take a fixed 20% damage of their max HP, and this is a fantastic tool if we are consistently getting non-focused encounters. To summarize first floor strategy, we want to grab as many Rupture gifts as possible and Carmilla if we can get our hands on it. Upon reaching the shop, we fuse our gifts to craft Thrill. Try to hold on to the gifts that are good at Rupture infliction and dealing damage like Carmilla or Barbed Lasso. We have a very important decision to make next. We could simply rely on the ego gifts I already mentioned, and you can use your IDs to dodge or defend and watch the enemies burn themselves to a crisp. This can work once you acquire the Thrill ego gift, but it is not always the best option, especially if you're doing hard dungeon runs or if you want to reach floor 5. So for this very reason we need a second strategy. Another way for us to deal guaranteed damage is by having Eclipse of the Scarlet Moths. What this does is, by turn start, when dealing damage with an attack skill for the first time, deal half of its damage as fixed damage to a random enemy. If the attack skill was Affinity Lust, deal said damage to 2 random enemies instead. If you have weak IDs, this is a good addition, but with strong IDs that rely on last affinity skills such as Manager Don Quixote or Ring Pointedist E-Sang, you will always get significant improvements on your runtime. This can be taken to the next level with last ego skills such as Yearning Mirkala. If we want to rely on this strategy more, we can amplify our damage output even more with ego gifts like Special Contract. Enemies staggered by skill damage also receive fixed damage by 33% of their max HP, for abnormalities the part's HP, and are inflicted with 2 fragile per turn, once per encounter. This gift has incredible synergy with Eclipse of the Scarlet Moths. There is one more hidden and very underrated ego gift I can guarantee will help you, and I quite like this. This will probably get me some hate messages, but White Gossypium is the most overlooked ego gift of all time. The description reads: turn start, if there are staggered enemies, unstagger them. Then inflict 8+ stagger level times 4 bleed potency and 8+ stagger level times 4 divided by 2 offense level down on them this turn and next turn. It activates once per enemy per encounter, does not activate against enemies that do not recover from stagger. This is another way of dealing more guaranteed damage, as bleed can be very efficient in most fights, and inflicting debuffs to enemies quite quickly is very useful. The reason why I recommend Hell's Kitchen when talking about the themes is that we want to get a Tango Marinade and Sharp Needle and Thread ego gifts. These will synergize with Eclipse of the Scarlet Moths strategy very well. Other really useful LEGO gifts that we want to get are the blue Zippo lighter, Grand Welcome, coffee and cranes. These enable us to use Ego more efficiently and frequently if we have to rely on something like earning Merkala. As you can see, these strategies can work in conjunction and will make your run much more efficient. This is all from me today. Thank you for watching the video till the end, and have a fun time grinding the mirror dungeons and get whatever ID or ego you want.